Hi, love. Well, we're doing it again. I'm surprised because the first short and vulnerable episode was a few weeks ago. And back then I was sick and I didn't have the energy and to edit the next episode. So I was just like, you know what, heck, life is life. Sometimes we cannot control it, so let me just take my mic and I'm going to share my heart and I'm going to tell you what is happening, because I promised you that every single week I'm going to publish an episode, and this is life. And I was so nervous putting out that episode because I didn't know how you, my beautiful audience, is gonna respond to this. And I have to say that I was so pleasantly surprised and so extremely grateful for all the messages that I received from you. And it really showed me that, we have very similar experiences, or even when I'm sharing something that it doesn't go into this box of mindful injury recovery, it doesn't mean that it's not valuable, right? So I am so grateful for all the emails and all the messages. And I also know that for every email that I receive, there are also potentially dozens of those who don't send an email. And even if you're not sending any kind of messages to me or emails, know that I still really appreciate you. So this is in regards to the previous episode. But in regards to this episode, I have to say that I already cried before I hit the record button. And I think that I cried because I am nervous again and I am slightly scared. And right now in my mind is again going on, well, you know what, maybe it's not necessary for you to publish this episode. But if you're listening to this, it means that I gathered all the courage that I needed to press publish, and that now we are here. And if you're listening to this or watching a video on social media, then you can also see that there is no makeup, there is no masks, no filter, just you and me and the mic talking about stuff and talking about today about happiness. And the reason why I needed to talk to you about happiness is because this is something that I've been asking myself. Am I really happy for the last few months, or better to say a few years, around 3 years approximately? Because there was also a really huge thing happening in 2020 for me, and I'm going to share just slightly about it a bit later on. Let's see where my thoughts are going. But why I needed to record this episode today and talk to you today is because yesterday I was watching, I came across a clip from the podcast of Steve Bartlett, The Diary of a CEO. And in that clip, short clip, he discusses with his guests the purpose and happiness, and are we really happy, and what kind of purpose we have, and how we are influenced from the outside, but is this really something that we want? And this clip really landed with me in a different kind of way, because it reminded me of studies that I've been aware of for quite a while now. And these studies are in regards to motivation and happiness, and how people who are internally motivated are on average happier than those who are externally motivated. So, for example, external motivation, whether this is money or luxurious things or praise that you get from another person, and that internal motivation is really about you being really happy and proud of what you're doing, and just by that, because this is a part of you, you are a happier person. This is what studies are showing. And for me, if this episode had a title, it would probably title In Pursuit of Happiness. because this is something that I've been asking myself, like I said, for the last approximately 3 years. Am I really happy? Or the question that I often ask is this what my heart really wants? And why I am asking myself this is because on the outside, potentially I shouldn't be asking myself this because I have a beautiful life. I mean, I have an amazing husband who loves me unconditionally. I am extremely loved. We live in the Caribbean part of the Mexico. It's always summer, beautiful beaches. I have my own business. I'm doing this podcast. I'm helping people. So why am I asking myself, am I happy? Right? And that this is a very valued question. But the reason why I am asking this and why I'm sharing this with you is, well, I have to go back to my childhood. And here I think my heart starts to pound more and louder. And if you were sitting here, you would probably hear my heart right now. But okay, going back to my childhood. So I was growing up in a relatively dysfunctional family. And on the outside, everything was kind of average and okay and perfect, I guess. But on the inside, no, it wasn't. And my father being very toxic person and my mother being toxic in her own way, and they had this battle in the court for almost 18 years. And when I was growing up, there was this constant reminder of how I needed to act, of questions as or messages of I needed to be careful of who I'm spending my time with, how I am acting, what I'm saying, all these masks that I needed to put on myself, because otherwise, if I did something wrong, that could be used against me in the court. So I was doing things to please others, right? And then it's these are the years when we are creating our personalities, when we learn about life. So what I learned about life was that life potential